Right, evening everyone. Just to say that we didn't get I didn't get any indication of what's in the exam. We didn't get any exam brief. I did speak to the head of program and she said because it is a take-home exam, we won't get any guidelines whatsoever. However, what I'm going to show, and it is absolutely meaningless in terms of the content, would be the guidelines that I was sent for the first part of this course, BMNG 7321. So the format of the exam has changed completely. So past exams won't help much other than the questions, and I will tell you what questions to expect based on what we had seen previously. The one thing that we know will happen is that you will have a single case study and all the questions would relate to that case study. Key in terms of the exam itself would be the integration of theory and application. The second thing, and I cannot emphasize this enough, is that my slides and your textbook are the basis for your answers. Do not default by looking at Google. Google is nowhere near sufficient for any answers. Your default setting for the answers will be my slides, and then it will be the textbook. And when you use my slides, obviously, and I know this is stupid to say, you reference the textbook. If you need additional bits of information and they say you need more than one reference, then you can go and look at Google Scholar, and then you can go and look at EBSCOhost. But you start with the textbook as the foundation, as the basis of all your answers. Single case study, all the questions relate to that case study. Remember, integration between theory and application. So the case study, and this is not the ideal, you can see that this relates to first semester. Oh, that's wonderful news, Mandy. My slides are a bomb, honestly, are the bomb. Sorry, I'm trying to sound gangster here, and I'm too old to do that. So you'll see that a single case study, it's a long case study like that. To me, read the questions first. Remember to link it, ignore those questions there. Those are my predicted questions for the 7321. Single case study, quite a comprehensive case study, a lot of detail included. The case study will never be perfect. So if you can't find examples and it's a company that exists on the internet, don't feel shy to go and look for examples about the company on the internet and include examples from there. Just use the reference, because the question will never be fully covered in terms of the case study they will give us. So that's the first bit, and obviously I'm not going to go through that. They'll also show you where they found the case study. To go through potential questions and the format of these questions, last year, I was the proofreader for these exams. For a variety of reasons, refused to ever do it again. It doesn't matter what those reasons are. But the questions look a bit like that. So I'm not worried about that. This is it. You will see, and these are standard questions that make an appearance every year. There will be something on stakeholders. I would be very surprised if they don't give us the freebie stakeholder question. Stakeholders, remember those internal, those direct stakeholders and indirect stakeholders. We'll go and look at those in the slides in a second. Please remember, give us the theory, the different stakeholders, and then generally they ask for you to find examples of those in terms of the case study. So the stakeholder question will always be there. You will also be asked a question in terms of organizational architecture. I'll go through the organizational architecture and the key bits there. Again, the case study, and then there will be a question on value innovation and the different forms of value innovation. I'll go through the different design theories, but essentially the questions will look like that. I'll slow down in a second. It is a take-home exam. As I said, my slides are fantastic, and you default to my slides. Do not default to bloody Google. Google is a mess. You default to my slides. And I'm hoping that at this stage, everyone has a copy of the slides. Okay. Again, just another case study. This one is a little bit better, and you will see something similar. Yeah. So validity, feasibility, again, a likely question. And then another case study here. Oof, I suppose these guys would have an absolute cadenza if I uploaded this. What happens on the group and all the other stuff. Can I upload it on the group? You know what is the worst that can happen? Okay, guys, I'll put this on the group so that you have an idea of what the questions look like. Just remember, well, we're the only people who do this. I'll upload that. Yeah, another question that always makes an appearance will be the stuff on strategic leadership. Remember, we've done this in the assignment as well. I'll put this on the group, being recorded anyway, but it's last year, and I'm pretty sure they would have shared this exam. Okay, so don't worry about it. It'll make an appearance on the group in a second. Okay, so let me put that aside, and let's go through the different slides. Okay, so the first thing, guys, take-home exam. It will look like the assignment. No panicking whatsoever. I would maybe, and I shouldn't even, this, you guys are third year, and I know that there will be a panic. But can I also just suggest, if you are stuck and you don't know where the answers are, let me do this. One of the ways to easily find the answer, let me just find my slides, in slides, is to simply just, and if they maybe ask for architecture, architect, let's just see, and immediately it tells you it's learning unit 6. So if you want to do that, it takes you to my slides. A nice easy way to do your research, to do the research in terms of the questions. So find the core question, do the search like that. It will take you directly to the slides. I don't know if I need to teach this. I'm pretty sure you guys know how to do that. Sorry, I'm a little bit embarrassed for doing that. Hopefully that did help someone. But yeah, so very, very simple. If it's about value innovation, yeah, value, okay, making value innovation happen is just to then look at the right option. Let's see if I go innovation, there's strategic innovation, you'll see that it's learning unit 2. So there it is. So very simple search. It should help a lot if you get stuck in terms of what and where to find the answers. Right, so to go through the different elements, and remember, trust my slides. There's a valid reason why my friend gave you, I'm not even going to try and lie about that anymore. So in terms of the levels of strategy, they're not really going to ask us that. But remember, it's always going to be your corporate level strategy, and that will be what we talk about as your grand strategies. Business level strategy is deciding how we compete within a particular industry. Operational or your functional level strategies, nothing too dramatic there. Guys, so if we look at these business level strategies, you should know these by now. These never really come out in the exam, but those options are there. So in terms of cost leadership, where the entire focus is about reducing the cost of a product to the customer. So every time we make an improvement, it's about reducing the cost in terms of the production, the manufacturing processes, and it's about passing that cost on, that cost saving on to our customers. Broad differentiation, remember, it's about uniqueness, it's about standing out from the crowd. Best cost provider always will be your value for money type of strategy. Focused low cost strategy always will be where we try and find a niche market, and it really is about low cost. It's a unique group of people. And then, okay, focused differentiation strategy would be exclusivity, it would be uniqueness, but it would be a small group of customers. In terms of car brands, I would imagine the entry-level Suzukis would fit into overall low-cost strategy. I think they're the cheapest in the country at the moment. Broad differentiation, BMW, Audi, those. Best cost provider would be Toyota. Focused low-cost strategy, it would be these cheaper nasties with these no-name Chinese brands. Focused differentiation would be Volvo or Lexus or any of those. In terms of grocery stores, I would imagine overall low-cost strategy, those would be Boxers, Superstore, those kinds of places. I also put ShopRite into that. Broad differentiation, I would imagine Woolworths fits into that. Best cost provider, I would imagine that would be something like Checkers would fit into that. ShopRite would be over there, Boxers, Superstore. Focused low-cost strategy would be the stores that do this sell by date items. Focused differentiation would be your delis. We don't find too many of these places anymore, but your delis certainly are there. And some of these places we find in the Western Cape, Franschhoek, and those kinds of places have these really unique places. One of the things they will ask you to do, and the slides are there. My slides are fantastic. This is a nice default slide to go to in terms of comparisons. They will ask you to look at evaluating strategies. Please remember these different considerations. Appropriateness, and here obviously we look at whether it fits the organization from a strengths, weaknesses, externally, and opportunities, threats perspective. Please don't discuss this. That's not what they ask. This is how we determine the appropriateness through these tools. It's not ever going to be part of the discussion. So please ignore these slides. The decision tree, rubbish. It's not necessary to go through those. It really is just to talk about appropriateness. Feasibility is whether we have the actual resources to make this happen. Desirability, it's whether our stakeholders would want us to see us follow this specific strategy. And my example is always, there are many ways of making money, but the right way is often the difficult way. If we want to make quick money, we could hire a ship, we could sail to the southern oceans, we could buy a bunch of baseball bats, and when we get to the South Pole, we could club seals to death, baby seals to death, and skin them and sell their pelts, which is disgusting. So it's about making money the ethical way, it's about risk management, etc. And then consistency. In terms of consistency, it's about being in line with your vision and your mission and your strategic intent, and validity, that the strategy is in fact based on information that from a statistical perspective can be analyzed, is valid. The assumptions that we use as the basis for our strategies actually make sense in terms of the real world. So no real dramas there. The one that you're likely to see will be assessing the strategy, but don't be surprised if they ask you around the different generic strategy options. the default slide for that, as I said, is this bugger here, and I can't find it, is that one there. It's a wonderful comparison in terms of those generic strategies. Can I see any questions, any concerns? Megs, you're okay still? Mandy, you're okay? Mandy, I know that you were quite stressed. Okay, that's good. Okay, I'm going to kill that off. Okay, so the second one, strategic innovation. Yeah, real traps here. I think, yeah, so, oh, sorry, I've got my cat here. Where is she now? So unprofessional. What do you want, my girl? Okay. This is professionalism at its best, guys. Right, blue ocean versus red ocean strategies. We spoke about that. If we are going into blue ocean strategies, it means that we've got a brand new innovation. We'll Google mid-90s. No one else has ever created a search engine, and we're the first to arrive. We're creating a brand new industry, and we know what it did for Google. Even when we use Bing, we use Bing to Google. Red ocean strategy is when you go into an existing market and it's a feeding frenzy. So in terms of innovation, what we try and do is we try and create blue ocean options. In terms of the theories of innovation, I hate pronouncing Kondratiev's long wave of different waves of innovation, long wave. It often goes hand in hand with economic theory, and the fact that we go through recessions and recovery and prosperity, etc. And these cycles end and start with new innovations. So if we look at the kinds of innovations, it often will be as a consequence of a radical innovation. So we know the steam engine was a radical innovation, and that brought with us a lot of prosperity, the motor vehicle, and then AI and all of those. And we see changes around those waves. Creative destruction is an interesting one, and it gives us an idea that we need to grow an economy at 2% a year. No one ever does, to get rid of poverty. We need to grow our economy at about 10% a year now to get rid of poverty. So the reality is that within industries, we have this creative destruction, and that within creative destruction, we will see that every industry goes through these phases where we innovate. And what happens is we render previous technologies obsolete through the creations, through the innovations that we have. And essentially, it often creates new job opportunities and essentially creates this revolution. And we know that we're in the fourth industrial revolution, and it's driven by computer technology. We know that it's driven by artificial intelligence and a range of other advances that are highly, highly rapid. S-curve, they're not going to ask this, but the reality is every technology has a maximum potential. We know that in terms of the current configuration, our CPUs will need to change significantly because software is becoming so resource intensive. And in terms of our current configuration, we cannot keep up with the advances in software because it's simply becoming too resource intensive, as I said. So we see quantum computing, and quantum computing is is going to change the world, and the options and the speed are endless, and it changes everything. So we've now reached the maximum potential of our current configuration of our processors, and the next phase will be quantum computing, and that has unlimited potential at this stage. Okay. Yeah, and it causes disruptions, and this disruptive innovation again is where something significant disrupts and messes with with industries, destroys previous products. If we think of the number of products that Google has destroyed, if we think of the number of products that your smartphone has destroyed, I mean, no one has an alarm anymore, no one has an iPod anymore. Everyone uses their phone to listen to music. No one has a landline anymore, and all a consequence of the disruption because of your smartphone. Dominant design is that in every industry we have a particular dominant design. It's where industry standards are created. I often think of the USB. It's a dominant design. Every single device that you can imagine, except bloody Apple, but every single device that you can imagine has a USB. I have a USB in my car. I have a USB in my laptop. I have USBs everywhere I look, and they all create a link to other products. Blu-ray is a dominant design, and we look at these normal kettle plugs. Everything runs off a kettle plug, and it's an example of a dominant design. And I've given absorptive capacity. Absorptive capacity is the ability to take in information and test the theories. Let me do this. I wonder if Paint is still open. I had another class immediately before. Sorry. Let me just get it new. If you imagine a person's brain is like an old style computer hard drive. Now, that's not the most round one. Every person has theories about the world. We have theories about people, things, and events. And these theories live like files on a hard drive. And what absorptive capacity is, we constantly encounter new information, and people who are open-minded will take in that new information, and they will rewrite their theories about the world. So often what happens in organizations, they have theories about the way the world should operate. So the best example is Kodak. Kodak believed that you would always require a film in a camera, and that film would always have to be developed. BlackBerry believed that the BIS system is the future. Nokia believed that you would always have the candy bar design phone. What is that? Blockbuster. And these are products that you guys don't even know about, and brands that you guys would imagine don't even know about. Blockbuster believed you'd always go and rent a video. Megs, how old are you? Because you might know some of these. I'm worried Mandy might not have heard of any of these. Megan, do you know of any of those? Blockbuster video, hiring videos? Are you my son's age? Okay. Mandy, have you heard of any of those? Mandy? Oh, I'm feeling so old. Yes, that's it. Oh, Mandy, how old are you, Mandy? Oh, my word. Oh, I'm not even going to think. Okay, moving along. I'm going to cry silently now. Okay, guys, and then, yeah, not too, not even BlackBerry. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Let me look at stuff. Yeah. Okay. Value innovation. This is one they are likely to ask us. In terms of value innovation, the expectation nowadays is based on the reality that people want value for money. We talk about these quantum leaps, and it's quantum leaps in buyer value and creating new markets. The key thing is that it's not about gimmicks. Value innovation is about adding value in such a way that you avoid being gimmicky. So you don't want to create innovations that suggest that this is a gimmick. You want to add value all the time. So if you think of value innovation, think of the apps that you've downloaded onto your phone. There are so many new apps that you download, and they all add value to your phone. So the key thing is making improvements to your phone, adding value to your phone, but also not doing it in such a way that you think, oh, this is a load of rubbish, this is just a gimmick. So it's that balance between the money it saves you as well as avoiding to being gimmicky. So the kinds of things that we see value adds, it's the product platform, the physical product. So if we look at Apple's new headset, the belief is that the iPhone 15 will be the last handheld phone from BlackBerry, I'm reading here, from Apple. So the next communications device, because we can't call it a phone, will, after iPhone 15, will, I assume, be that Apple headset. Now, for me, that as a physical product is gimmicky. I don't see the values there. Anyone on Apple? Megs, are you on Apple? Mandy, are you on Apple? I'm Android. Yeah, same here. I'm not. Other place to add value is the support services, the maintenance, the customer, and then the delivery. I love my Samsung. Absolutely love my Samsung. Won't swap my Samsung for anything in the world. My kid has moved across to Apple, and now he's on an Apple Mac. He has an iPad. He has his iPhone. He swears by Apple, but I noticed that he's never ever given up his old Huawei. He still has his old Huawei and on Android, although he's moved everything across to Apple. Okay, guys, and then the delivery platform. I love online shopping. I love the way that it makes my life easy. To me, that is the best thing in the world. And we know that online purchase are mostly done by men. But for me, that is a real value add, online purchases. Okay. And then, yeah, blue ocean, red ocean, nothing too. You can look at those there. Nothing too dramatic there. Okay. Okay, bottom of the pyramid, you would have done it in 7321. Bottom of the pyramid focuses on that sector, focuses on the poorest of the poor. The key thing in terms of bottom of the pyramid is that you provide products and services to the poorest of the poor, but it's not about giving and providing products and services that rip off naive, poor people who don't know better. It's about creating opportunities for people to break the cycle of poverty that they're in. So these are the poorest of the poor. The key thing about bottom of the pyramid is that the focus is about creating opportunities for people to actually not be stuck in poverty. It's not about ripping naive, poor people off. So often the kinds of products that we provide is there to give people access to the world, access to education, access to jobs. It's entry-level laptops, it's entry-level phones, smartphones. And you can see the process there. Okay. And then, yeah, fuzzy front end of innovation. I think the reality is that the fuzziness is the uncertainty. Often people who innovate are very much like pathfinders. They take steps where no one has gone before. When Apple wrote their first algorithm, the reality is that there was no best practices for them. These are people who create their own best practices. They don't know what the innovation will bring. But once the innovation takes off, it then starts making a massive difference. In terms of design thinking, it really is the idea of trying to change the world. It's trying to explore what could be. It's trying to imagine what could be. And you could see the different elements there. Nothing too dramatic there, guys. Okay, nothing there. Yeah, corporate level strategy. I think this was in our assignments. Nothing too dramatic there. This is the slide here that I tell people to default to. So these are our grand strategies. These are the strategies that take us to our long-term objectives. The different growth strategies there, organic growth. Yeah, here we focus on staying with our existing products, our existing services. Market penetration, this is often when we're in a market that's not fully saturated. So market penetration is about advertising, it's about raising awareness. Consolidation, it's about making sure that we keep our market share. So whether we downsize our company, we get rid of issues that are costing us and not adding value, but the focus is on keeping our market share. We want to limit our exposure to risk, and that's why we focus on what we have. Market development is where we take existing products into new markets. We know that Nando's is now in the UK, so we've seen Nando's go from South Africa. We know that Southern Sun is in the United Arab Emirates. We know that Netgear is in some of the United Arab Emirates type countries. Product development is where we take our existing product and we make improvements to it. So motor vehicles go through it when we give it a facelift. I see they don't have innovation here. Diversification, where we move away from our existing business. Related diversification, we move away from our existing business, but we stay with the same technology. So Volkswagen, when they brought out the Amarok, so they still stayed with manufacturing vehicles, but they brought out the Bucky, for example. Mercedes brought out the Bucky. Unrelated diversification, when you move into a completely different field. Alpha Pharmacies introduced cell phones, for example. Integration, vertical integration, a forward vertical integration, where you take over your suppliers. Am I right? No, where you take over your intermediaries. Backward vertical integration, where you take over your suppliers. Horizontal integration, where you take over your competitors. And you can see some of the other mergers, joining with another organization or working together. Joint ventures, where you create a whole new different organization. Strategic alliances, where you work together, but you don't create a new organization. End game, where obviously you have a lot of threats and a lot of weaknesses. divestiture, internal divestiture. You start getting rid of some of your assets. You sell off parts of the business. You reduce other assets, focus on a niche market, exit, liquidation, bankruptcy, selling the business, and other options. So nothing too dramatic there. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to ask us will they ask us this? No, they won't ask us that. Yeah, so this is the Boston Consulting Group, and it really is a decision on what to do with different divisions. So your stars, those are divisions that have significant market share and also are in a high growth market. These are the ones that you invest in. They're going to be around. They're a significant part of your core business. They essentially where you are at in terms of your vision and your mission statement. Cash cow have a massive market share in a low growth business, but you would generally use their money to support your stars or to turn your question marks where you are in a high market share, a high market growth business, but you have low market share, to either turn your question mark into a star, or you can just let it go and become a dog. Your dog would be where you have low market share in a low growth market business. Okay, so nothing dramatic in terms of that one. Okay. Strategic global advantage. Yeah, we know what globalization is, the move towards this one world economy, the free movement of products, services, skills, and finances across traditional boundaries. In terms of international business, we know that international trade is about imports, exports. Counter trade means that if you import X amount from me, I will then import an equivalent amount from you. Foreign direct investment is where you actually invest in businesses in a foreign country. Foreign portfolio investment is where you buy shares in another country. A multinational enterprise would be places like Apple and Google, where you have a footprint in a range of countries. Yeah, nothing too dramatic there. Not anything there that I'm too worried about. Not worried about anything there. They asked us that in the assignment. Macro environment stuff, guys, we've done enough on that now. Not worried about any of that. Right. Right, so in terms of competitive advantage, the different elements in terms of international competitive advantage, there are a couple of things that we have to look at. We have to look at the local domestic competitive advantage. What are the advantages of operating in a particular country? And then also, what can we do by locating in a particular area? Right, so there are a couple of things that we have to look at. First of all, that what will determine your ability to compete internationally, your own resources, your service, your product, your brand, your financial resources, your reputation, the different functional capabilities in terms of marketing and HR, your management and strategic capabilities. The industry or key success factors, I think you would have done that in BMNG 7321. Industry success factors or key success factors, those are the non-negotiables to compete in an industry. So we know that in terms of let's just use the smartphone or smart device industry, the key success factors would be things like constant innovation, would be some sort of cloud technology, some sort of ability to integrate your different devices, would be the need for some sort of complementor that would give you your apps, etc. And then this would be the foreign country environments, and I want to chat about this. Don't be surprised if they ask you this one. This is Porter's Diamond. Porter's Diamond argues that in deciding whether you will settle in a particular area, in a particular region, there are certain elements that you have to consider in relation to that region. Please remember, this is not about the organization. This is about the region you want to potentially settle in. So if we think of South Africa, we would look at South Africa as a possible foreign investment destination if we're somewhere overseas and we have our own business. And these are the factors that we would consider in investing here. So this is Porter's Diamond. So in terms of that, Porter's Diamond will have the different factors. The first one, factor conditions. The first within that, basic factor endowments. So if we look at South Africa, natural resources, not bad at all. We have gold, we've got coal, we've got a range of natural resources. Climatic conditions, reasonable climate. Our real challenge is that we are a water dry country, and we know that there is an El Nino on the way, which means the opposite of El Nino. We're in an El Nino now, and we are enjoying in most parts of South Africa decent rain. And then basic workforce skills. We don't have great basic workforce skills, so it does count in our disfavor. The second part there, advanced factor endowments, high-level workforce skills, not great because of the brain drain, because of our education system. Knowledge resources, how much patents, etc., have we registered? Capital, how much money have we got to invest? Infrastructure, our road system is shocking in terms of potholes, etc. Our rail system is, reasonable. I know it's not great. I don't know if SAA is still flying. And then advanced technologies, we've got a reasonable AI system and the reasonable banking system. And then demand conditions. Here we look at, if you're in a particular industry, if we had to manufacture here, what would the local demand be? And obviously you would look at that, because within that demand, there will be innovations, it will force quality improvement, and then also what is local competitiveness like? And then if we want to settle here, can we use our current industries? And you can see there whether these are service industries, whether the banking system, are there accountants, are there attorneys, if we want to settle in a particular area, will we be able to get suppliers if we want components for our products? And then organization strategy, structure, rivalries, also how well are organizations run in this place. And then the last part of the diamond, government, are they there to promote or inhibit investment? And then, what are the chances of natural disasters, etc. And on the basis of that, you would assess a particular region, a specific area, a specific country, and then decide whether you will settle in that area. Okay, that's what the diamond looks like. Guys, in terms of international competitive strategies, ethnocentric orientation means our country's values, culture dominate. American firms are like that. What is American is best. Polycentric, where if we settle in a country, we allow the values and the traditions and the laws of that country to dominate. Regiocentric, where we take different regions and we create standards for those regions. And then geocentric is where we adopt a worldwide attitude. Okay. And then competitive advantage and strategy, 2 pressures, and this is what we did in the assignment: pressures for cost reduction and local responsiveness, and it's a combination of these. I discussed this at length during the assignment. Okay. And then how do we enter? Yeah, equity and non-equity, and all varying degrees of risk, exporting, and you can see the different options here. Greenfield is where you start a brand new project, you build, start new, put in factories, etc. You can see the only one that I need to worry about. Nah, there's nothing too dramatic. You can work through those. Okay. Strategic leadership. I'm not too worried about anything here. You will see this as a question. Absolutely will see this as a question. Let me try and remember. Yeah. Be careful that this one doesn't come out as per the assignment. Let me just remember the other one that they like asking. Oh, this is the other one they like asking. Okay. Sorry, let me just try and remember what they ask. Please just give me a second. My apologies, I should be more organized. Okay, guys, I will quickly hold on a second. Yeah, so the question they ask, guys, is write an essay, 1,200 to 1,500 words, in which you discuss the tasks strategic leaders must fulfill in creating an integrated organizational system. Okay, now remember, that is a question that makes an appearance every year, and you can listen to the recording and just play it back. And you want to go from, my apologies. Okay, it's that there. So, no, it's not all of that. guys, you just need to please look at the okay, it's from there, guys. So in terms of enabling strategy implementation, it will be slides 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28, 29, 30. You don't need to worry about 30, 31, 32, 33. Okay, so the question, and it literally is that question there that they are going to ask you. Where is it now? Sorry, I'm being a complete idiot. It really is the implementation. Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. Okay, where is it now? Okay, so it is that there. It is in terms of enabling strategy implementation, and it's the slides from there. They ask it all the time. Take note of that as a potential question, and it's the slides from 21 onwards. Okay. And then lastly, strategic architecture. Right, in terms of strategic architecture, they will ask a shorter question on it. In terms of reading the model, the key thing when reading the model, and I'm running out of time, is to read it from right to left. So the focus is on the stakeholders, but we read it from right to left. You don't read it the normal way. You read it, in reverse from right to left. I hope people saw that on my slides. So in terms of organizational architecture, it really is that everyone sees what has to be in place in order for an organization to work from a strategic perspective. The stakeholders, I think we now know, people with a vested interest. This is one of the questions you are likely to see. Your shareholders, your employees. Just remember there'll be two elements to it, the theory, and then you'll have to find from the case study who the shareholders are. Capabilities, remember those are the things that allow us to maximize what we can get out of our resources. Your processes, your work methods, your work agenda, your operational and support processes, operational processes, those that allow us to create our products and services, our support processes, your HR, your information systems. And then, just your structure and systems. It really is who reports to who, how do we maximize the skills and the competencies within the organization. That's a matrix design where people report both to managers as well as to sorry, am I even looking at, sorry, I'm not even looking at the right one. Sorry, the new design, the chaotic paradigm, my apologies, I am completely stupid. The chaotic paradigm, it really is the modern structure where we try and give people the freedom to make magic happen, but still enough structure to know who they need to report to. This is a very traditional approach where there is a narrow design and lots of people report to lots of managers, or few people report to lots of managers. Here, lots of people report to few managers. Okay, you can see the different divisions of labor. You've done this since year one. This is the matrix approach that allow for both horizontal and vertical reporting lines. Nothing too dramatic. You've seen this since first year. I'm not too worried about that. Policies, procedures, nothing too dramatic there. And then, knowledge, skills, and abilities, nothing too dramatic there. Culture, the personality, the way we do things around an organization, nothing too dramatic there as well. Yeah. As I don't think I've got anything else to cover. I think you've got it in hand. I'm going to stop recording.